MAGA has gone fully fascist. And I'm sure we all knew that, but I feel it's important to put it on blast so that everybody can see it clear as day.
I'd rather have Donald Trump as a dictator for 4 years. Absolutely. This country needs a dictator. I hate to say that, but it's the truth.
He could stand on the front steps of the White House and commit murder, and I'm with him.
If he says it, then I'll go with it. And if he wants to be a dictator, then so be it.
This is it. The Thomas Nast cartoon. Patriots festooned in American flags, co-signing dictatorship.
They are literally all in on dictatorship. And I don't know if you guys were aware of what was happening with the gerrymandering thing, but in the law, there are a number of levers that congressmen can use to try to prevent this or whatever. There's something called the filibuster. It doesn't really exist in its current or in its past form anymore on a federal level, certainly. But if they didn't want a bill to pass, they'd have to stand up there and they would read a book or they would talk for hours and hours and hours. Another one is making sure that there isn't quorum. So there weren't enough people there to hold a vote, even if there were enough people technically to pass the bill. You know, these levers have been in government since it was created. Abraham Lincoln literally jumped out of a window to prevent quorum from being met one time. I believe in Texas. I could be wrong. When he was a congressman. Don't quote me on that. But the point is that, like, these are levers of power that people have always used since forever. And in Texas, they decided to break quorum by leaving the state so that they could not gerrymander and create 5 new seats for Republicans and take 5 seats from Democrats in the process. And what did they do? In response, Greg Abbott put out a warrant for their arrest and had them brought to the House chamber and held until they signed a piece of paper agreeing to be under constant guard until they showed up to vote for the bill or whatever. And one woman, this one right here, chose not to sign the piece of paper agreeing to be monitored by the police. So she was forced to sleep on the floor of the House, the state capital of Texas House. She was under constant guard, and they followed her everywhere from the house to the bathroom. She wasn't allowed to go anywhere else but the floor chamber or the bathroom. And I think she talked them into allowing her to go to her office to get work done at one point. Well, she calls in to talk to, Gavin Newsom and some other politicians. And then this happens.
And all of our Democratic elected officials.
Sorry, I have to leave. They said it's a felony for me to do this. Apparently, I can't be on the floor or in the bathroom. Well, you told me I was only allowed to be here in the bathroom. No, hang on. Bye, everybody. I've got to go.
Hey. They told her it's a felony for her to be on the phone with the press. How is that a felony? Isn't that, like, what felony would that even be? Is that not fascism? How is this not fascism? Will they admit to this? This is a dictatorship now.
I forgot to show you this, but there's a clip also from the press. A guy was standing directly outside of the door, and they had the doors locked. He was on the phone with her. He was not allowed in, and she was not allowed out. They were directly next to each other, and they couldn't do one interview together with a door open. And what's even worse is everyone in the comments of that clip, of that video, were blaming her. They said, well, why didn't she just sign it? If she just signed it, then this wouldn't be an issue. This is all her fault.
She shouldn't have to sign it. She is a free agent. She is a member of Congress, and she's allowed to talk to the press.
You shouldn't have to make a decision that goes against what you believe and what you want just to get freedom. That's not a democracy.
And by the way, that is coercion, what she's experiencing. It's called coercion. You're being coerced into agreeing to something.
And first of all, let me tell you something. Representative Collier in the bathroom has more dignity than Donald Trump in the Oval Office.
There you go.
That is outrageous. What they're trying to do right there is silence an American leader, silence a black woman. And that is outrageous. And I hope everybody took note of that. The fact that she can't even let her voice be heard is freaking outrageous.
It is.
And this is what we're fighting for here. This is ultimately what this is about. What we just witnessed, them trying to shut her down and say it's illegal for her to be in the bathroom and on this call. This is the lengths that they're going to in Texas to try to bring about a system so unjust and so unjustifiable that they are going to try to silence those leaders from being heard and speaking out.
So I'm sorry. Cory Booker, that's who this guy is. I'm just having a hard time buying a word out of his mouth. It all felt so fake and plastic, and God, I don't know. Maybe it's me. Did that sound fake and plastic to you?
I feel like some of it wasn't necessary.
Anyway, he's correct in saying that this is definitely a fascist situation. He's just an insufferable, cringy person to me. I'm sorry, man.
He said he's capitalizing on the fact that she's a black woman. The issue doesn't have to do with her race. It's the fact that this is happening in the first place. It shouldn't be happening, whether or not she's black, a woman, anything else.
Right. So,
and
anyway,
that's not, I know that's not what he was saying, but he was just kind of,
it was cringy. It was painful.
It's like a dog whistle. That's what it felt like. That's the word I was trying to find.
Anyway, yeah. So the point is that this is definitely fascism. Check this out. This is on the Donald's. All right. It's the Donald subreddit. They were banned from Reddit because they're an extremist group, and they were pushed into. They created their own website called thedonald.win. There was some drama with that, like, URL. The URL owner had a fit over something, and they created patriots.win. So now it's basically an extremist cell where they meet up and they talk about absolutely psychotic stuff. You want to know what fascism is? Go here and read what they have to say. Democrats rigged the 2020 census. There are 20 to 30 Democrat seats in the House that would not exist if illegals weren't counted, is their claim. Not for nothing, but Trump was the president when the census took place. How could the Democrats have possibly rigged anything? What are you talking about? Trump had 4 years to root out this supposed problem of quote-unquote illegals voting and all of that nonsense, and he literally didn't do anything to do that. After or before the first election under his term in 2018, or the second one in 2020. It was nonsense then, and it's nonsense now. But the point that I'm trying to get to is how completely psychotic and broken these people's brains are now. Like I said, fascism is here. Look at what these people said. I'd like to hear the legal argument against the plain reading of the text in the Constitution. I don't think illegals, or probably most of the others, quote unquote, should count. But without a good path, these efforts will just get slapped down and are only useful for rousing the base. Democrats rigged the Constitution to count non-voting slaves as an extra 3/5 of a person for their states, says this person. Are you aware of the 3/5 compromise?
Yeah.
That is a psychotic thing to say. If there's anyone who doesn't know what the 3/5 compromise is, it was a section of the Constitution, I believe, that was added to count slaves in the census for redistricting, because they are in the district. Like, they are people that exist in this district and should be counted for redistricting purposes, right? Like, if there are 20,000 people in this district, but only like 5,000 are like, only 5,000 are not slaves, we should still count the other 20,000 for the sake of districting, right? Obviously. And this person is pointing out that the 3/5 compromise between Democrats and Republicans was put into the Constitution in an attempt to meet in the middle, because one group didn't want slaves counted at all and the others did want them counted. So they compromised and said slaves are worth 3/5 of a person. How absolutely psychotic and broken is that in the first place? And here we have these people complaining about the compromise all these years later, saying they shouldn't have compromised, slaves shouldn't count as people, unironically arguing that. Democrats rigged the Constitution to count non-voting slaves as an extra 3/5 of a person for their states. And conveniently, he points out that Democrats were actually the conservatives at the time, not the liberals.
Yeah,
That's
not
a
under that
fact
name.
that they like to pretend doesn't exist when it's convenient, right?
Well, they're saying Democrats not under that name, so
Yeah.
Democrats is in Republicans of the time.
Yep. So these people are absolutely brain broken. Check this out. This is a clip from Stephen Miller, full fascist neo-Nazi extremist, talking about the 2020 census and seemingly forgetting that Trump was running the census at the time.
Democrats have gerrymandered the vote beyond recognition to try to maintain their advantage in the House elections. On top of that, let's not forget, Democrats rigged the 2020 census
Under Donald Trump, apparently.
Yeah, Biden became president in 2021, January 20th, 2021.
by including illegal aliens. Remember, they sued Donald Trump. They sued the administration. They fought tooth and nail to include illegal aliens in the census. 20 to 30 of House Democrat seats wouldn't exist but for illegal aliens.
This is just delusion. And you know what? I don't even think it's delusion. I'm giving this dude too much credit by saying it's delusion. He knows what he's saying. He knows what he's doing, and he knows it's a lie, in my personal opinion.
Texas is taking just a small corrective step against this ocean of fraud, this ocean of abuse by the corrupt Democrat Party.
Like, I don't care what you think or who you are or whatever. Gerrymandering is destructive to democracy, period. I don't care if you're trying to correct for this or that or whatever. I don't care. It's destructive to democracy. Nobody should be gerrymandering. Do you know that there were bills put forth to ban gerrymandering, to have it basically have the districts drawn by independent commissions or whatever? Do you know how many Republicans voted in favor of it? Zero. Is it any surprise that these people are desperate to claim that it's this both sides nonsense? It's not both sides. One side is trying to gerrymander and cheat and lie and be fascist, and the other is not. There is a difference. Anyway, let me just look here. Like, I got to be careful about scrolling through this website because, you know, there are slurs all over the place. There's extremist rhetoric about like murdering people and stuff. I mean, it's really, really psychotic, dude.
Is a lizard person. Stephen Miller is a lizard person. Sorry, that is my least favorite conspiracy theory, because that's the one conspiracy theory that you can't get behind with any sort of logic at all. There are countless conspiracy theories that you could say, well, but if you think about it, blah, 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 blah. But this one just...
reason your way into,
yeah,
I guess.
but this one you can't reason your way into it at all. You could reason your way into the flat earth conspiracy theory. Literally nothing about this could make any sort of sense at all.
Well, David Icke came up with this one, or at least popularized it heavily. That's as far back as I tracked it, late 90s, the lizard person one. And it's deeply entertaining to me. Some of the other really entertaining, weird, esoteric ones are like the idea that Nazis are responsible for UFOs, like Nazis control all of the UFOs and their secret Nazi spying apparatus. They escaped to Antarctica. Anyway, it's absolutely nuts.
You could make an argument for that.
I guess, but not the lizard person one.
No, because it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You can make an argument for the moon landing is fake. You could make an argument for the flat earth. You can make an argument for the Nazis fleeing to Antarctica. But do you understand how deep into psychosis you have to get to sit there and go, lizard people are real and it's Hillary Clinton?
Well, for what it's worth, let me just read a little bit of a primer here on this. David Icke's writings and lectures, Icke claimed that many world leaders and elites, presidents, royalty, billionaires, are actually shape-shifting reptilian aliens disguised as humans. Earlier influences, the idea drew on older mythologies, serpent gods in Mesopotamia, Nagus in Hindu and Buddhist traditions, snake symbolism in the Bible, and 20th century science fiction, H.P. Lovecraft, Robert E. Howard, and later TV shows like V in the 1980s. I remember
And
V,
Doctor Who.
which portrayed aliens disguised as humans. Core beliefs. Reptilian overlords, a secret race of reptilian beings supposedly came from another dimension or star system. Icke often cited Draco, and infiltrated Earth. Shape-shifting elites. These reptilians allegedly take human form and rule through governments, corporations, and institutions. Control through fear. They're said to manipulate humanity via wars, economic crises, and religion to harvest negative energy, sometimes called loosh in New Age circles. Okay. I didn't know that one. That's interesting. And then bloodlines. Icke argues that royal families and elite dynasties interbreed to maintain reptilian DNA, allowing them to shift between forms. Wow, dude. Just the psychosis of these people, man. I'm telling you.
These people would absolutely love Doctor Who because not only is there an episode where these aliens from some other planet like put themselves into human suits and take over politicians, like it's a whole thing. They take over the politicians, blah blah blah, whatever. There's also an episode with lizard people.
Doctor Who?
Yeah, in Doctor Who.
Doctor Who?
Yeah, exactly. Doctor Who? Which one?
Okay, go on.
Yeah, no. I understood your joke, don't worry.
Okay. I appreciate that.
But yeah, I don't remember them. There were some variants, but I don't remember them pretending to be human. Yeah, I don't think that they pretended to be human, but lizard people existed in Doctor Who. But then also, I believe with the Ninth Doctor, there was I think it was the Ninth Doctor. There were these aliens who basically killed these politicians, wore their bodies as like human disguised suits, and took over the UK. And they were trying to take over the world. But yeah, that was the point.
I wonder how old that
Slovene.
is. I'm wondering like when that was made. That
2000s, I think.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well, maybe it was based on David Icke going absolutely nutter butters over his conspiracy in the 90s. But anyway, absolutely wild. Yeah, tell me what you think about it in the comments. These people need help. Seriously, they need help.